You ever have one of those moments where you suddenly realize you were the bad guy in someone else's story? Yeah, I had one of those, and it stayed with me for decades. Part 1. The candle that changed everything. A while back, I read a story that hit me harder than I expected. A woman had just moved into a new apartment. She lived alone, right next to a struggling familiar widow and her 2 little kids. One night, the whole block lost power, so she lit a candle and tried to get through the darkness. A few minutes later, she heard a knock. It was the neighbor's little boy, nervous and shy. He asked, "Ma'am, do you have any candles?" The woman thought, seriously, they're so poor, they can't even afford candles. She didn't want to get caught in endless requests, so she snapped, "No, I don't." She was about to close the door when the kid gave her this warm, relieved smile and said, "I knew it. My mom said you probably didn't have any, so she told me to bring you these." And he pulled out 2 candles from his jacket. He wasn't begging. He was bringing kindness. That moment shook her, and it reminded me of something that happened to me years ago. Something I'm still ashamed of. Part 2. The 1992 road incident. Back in '92, I was driving along a dusty highway when a small van behind me started honking like crazy. Not just once over and over. Eventually, the van sped up, cut in front of me, and the guy inside pointed right at me, waving his hand like he was scolding me. And I lost it. I yelled inside my car, flashed my headlights, cursed him, out basically acting like he picked the wrong guy to mess with. He eventually sped away, and I thought, good. Lucky for you, I'm in a good mood. Otherwise, I'd have called my buddies and taught you a lesson. Yeah. That's how cocky I was back then. When I reached my destination, the convoy behind me finally caught up. A buddy walked over and said, "Hey man, one of your supply bags fell off earlier." A local guy found it on the road and handed it to our truck. And that's when everything clicked. That man in the van, the one I cursed out, the one I treated like garbage. He wasn't insulting me. He was trying to warn me. I had attacked someone who was trying to help. Part 3. The guilt that stays. I still think about that man. Sometimes I imagine him deciding, why bother helping people? They're just ungrateful. And if that moment made him stop helping others, then I'm the one who made the world a little colder. That guilt doesn't fade. I wish I could find him. I wish I could say, "Hey man, I'm sorry. I really am." But life doesn't rewind. Part 4. What it taught me. Ever since that day, I changed one thing in my life. I try to assume everyone means well, because most people really are just trying to do the right thing even if they don't always do it perfectly. And when you choose to see people that way, more often than not, you'll find out you are right.